And it is complicated. It's the science is complicated, but there are very simple ways to think about this. I think of all of the DNA that's in you, that's in me, that's in a tomato, that's in a corn plant. It's basically like a big cookbook. It's the recipes. It's the recipes for everything, and there's thousands of individual recipes in there, and they all come together to form a feast, basically, or in our case, make us, or make a fruit fly, or make a corn plant. And so it's really just recipes. And just like any cookbook, as you modify those recipes and they get passed down from your great grandmother to your grandmother and so on, little changes happen. And it may be that somebody's just changing the temperature of the oven by 30 degrees. It may be that somebody's actually just removing a recipe. And this is exactly how it works in nature, that it's basically a recipe book that is changing over time, evolving, and the ones that work the best, the recipes that make the best food or the tastiest food and so on, those tend to stay in. And the ones that aren't working so well, those tend to go out. And so breeders have basically been taking these cookbooks and shuffling recipes around by the dozens or hundreds at a time. And you can do that if you shuffle thousands and tens of thousands of them and then have a way to test them all, put them all in the kitchen and test them. And then with GMOs and biotechnology, what we're doing is basically adding a recipe. This is a great recipe. It's got thousands of recipes. This is a great cookbook, lots of great recipes, but here's another great one. Let's put that one in. And then gene editing is like going into that recipe book and saying, this is a pretty good recipe book, but let's just tweak this one recipe. Let's just tweak this other recipe. And that may sound like an oversimplification, but that's basically what we're talking about here when we're talking about improving crops by changing its DNA.